All the time in men's dating content, I see this narrative that in order to attract women, you need to be a bad boy. And then you hear this and it makes you think like, have I really been doing everything wrong? I mean, yeah, I've been a super good guy, I've been super nice, and I've really struggled with girls, so maybe that is what it is. But is this actually true? In this video, we're gonna cover my story of how I implemented that advice and whether or not it worked for me, what I observed throughout college, and evaluate, is this statement actually true? So first off, back when I was in high school, I was a total simp. I was the type of guy who really struggled with girls. I'd be texting them all the time. I'd be putting all this effort into my dating life, calling them, blowing up their phone, telling them how much I liked them, but I was still never really getting dates. Then one day I came across like the stereotypical red pill content that would tell you, oh yeah, in order to get girls, you just need to be a bad boy. You need to leave them on red. You need to show them that you don't really care. And that's what's gonna make a girl want to be with you. So I implemented this advice and guess what? It actually worked. I was going out to parties and I was getting girls' numbers. I was going on dating apps and I was going on dates, and I was actually starting to build quite a level of abundance in my dating life through this like early college period of my life. But with all that being said, even though I had some success, there is one major catch that we have to talk about. And that is that being a bad boy repels the actual high quality women that you want to make your girlfriend. Now, why does this matter? Well, if you're a young man, you probably want to attract a high quality woman. You want to have a girlfriend one day. And you probably don't want to just be, sleeping around and, going out to parties and talking to those type of girls. No, you actually want to find a wifey material girl. So if you just want to go out and get laid and have some fun and go on dating apps and go to bars, then 100% that being a bad boy advice is going to work. And why is that? Well, it's all because that type of behavior, for the most part, just attracts low quality women who don't really have high standards and who have very bad attachment issues. When you don't spend time texting a girl and you leave her on red, it makes her feel anxious. And some women are attracted to that type of love. They're attracted to that type of energy because it's what they got growing up from other people. But any girl who has a high standard of how they want a man to treat them, who has had a good example from their father, from brothers, from other, men in their life and other people in their life, they're not going to tolerate that type of behavior. They're going to see you being avoidant. They're going to see you being distant, and they're going to say like, yeah, this guy is not the type of guy that I'd want to be with long term. I even had this happen to me once. There was this one girl I was talking to. It was about 3.5 years ago, and I was doing this, whole bad boy thing. Yeah, not texting her back, not showing that much attention. And after a few days, she texted me saying, hey, I've had a good time getting to know you and I've had a lot of fun, but I just don't really feel like that you're treating me with that much respect. Sometimes you go days without texting me, you go hours without replying to me, and I just honestly kind of like lose some respect for you. I don't really like the way this is going, and I think it'd probably be better off that we went our separate ways. And this was a girl who at the time I really liked and I really like saw as high quality, so it really hurt losing her, and it made me realize that, okay, maybe this bad boy approach isn't actually helping me with getting a girlfriend, which is what I actually wanted. So now you're probably saying like, okay, but what should I do instead? Well, when you think about these bad boys, what are the good qualities that women actually find attractive in them? Well, the fact of the matter is that guys who are considered bad boys, they aren't afraid to set boundaries. They aren't afraid to be authentically themselves. And while, yeah, being kind, being a good person is important, setting boundaries and being masculine, this may be controversial, is actually much more important than being a good, nice guy. A girl would usually choose the guy who's masculine, but maybe a bit disrespectful, maybe a bit selfish, but has some self-respect, over the guy who is nice, who's a good guy, but just gets completely walked over, who's just a total pussy. So with that being said, you have to kind of learn how to balance the act of being a good guy, being a gentleman, but also not getting walked all over. When I think of like the perfect way you can be as a man going throughout your dating life, what I think of is James Bond. Is he like a bad boy in some ways? Yeah, he's mysterious, he's attractive, he's confident, but he's also kind, he's also respectful, he's also a gentleman. And I think as a young man, that is what you should shoot for. Obviously, like, don't copy James Bond, be yourself, but I just think he's a good example to set for young men. So what are some examples of how you can actually implement this advice in a good way? Well, let's say, for example, you're going out on a date with a girl and she shows up late. She walks in and she's not really giving that much attention to you. She's being rude to the waiter. Well, a guy who has no balls whatsoever, a guy who's a total simp, what is he going to do? He's not going to call her out on it. And because of that, she's going to continue to disrespect him, or she's just going to lose attraction for him. Whereas a guy who has confidence, a guy who's masculine, the guy who she wants to be with, he's going to call her out on it. He's going to say, hey, I don't appreciate that you showed up late to our date. I don't appreciate that you aren't really respecting my time. And the first thing you're going to say is like, well, what if I call her out and she loses interest? What if I call her out and she doesn't like me anymore? That scarcity mindset is exactly why you are struggling. As a man, you can never compromise your principles for anything, and that includes women. If you feel like you're gonna say something and you're gonna lose a girl because of it, bro, it's better off to lose the girl and keep your self-respect than to lose all your respect and keep the girl. I'm gonna say that again. It is better to lose the girl and maintain your self-respect than to keep the girl and lose respect for yourself. That is something you should never, ever compromise as a man. So the main takeaway that I want you to have from this video is you don't have to be a bad boy. You're respectful, you're a gentleman, you're a good guy, and those are all good traits. You should never lose that authentic part of yourself. But at the same time, you have to learn the difference between being nice, between being respectful, and being a simp, being a little bitch, getting walked all over. Because the truth is, if you don't have respect for yourself, other women are not going to respect you. So be kind, be a gentleman, treat women well, but also have boundaries and have respect for yourself. I'll see you for the next video, bro. And by the way, no pressure, but once you find that my free videos have helped you out quite a bit, you've gotten some value from them, and you want to take your dating life to the next level, and you want my help getting to where you want to be, you can check the link to my coaching in the description, book a free call with me, and we can see if you'd be a good fit and get you to achieving your goals.